They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know who holds the future, and life is worth the living just because He lives.
If I don't get to put up a video, this is why. I've been working on it. It takes a lot of time to do this, though. And I have another one. This doll outfit that I made, I cannot even find it. I can't even find my Power Director download. I don't know. I have had this problem once before, and but I will try to come up with something so y'all have something to watch. But for now, we're going to get busy on the Bible. Okay, I want to continue on in this. Oh, I didn't know I was going to have a lot of things in my way. Mom's pocketbook. So I got to get rid of all that. And scoop that on up. I got my coffee. I'm ready to go. So, we're going to look at, we're going to go on to 40. And on Genesis 40, and we're going to try to do 41 too. I figured I'd better stay in Genesis because we've got a good story going on here, okay? And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his butler and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. So he just offended him. Okay? And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, and to the prison, the palace, where the place where Joseph was bound. I just woke up. I took a nap. My dogs woke me up. I said I'm gonna take advantage of it. Alright, and the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream. The butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in prison. Joseph came in to them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers what were with him in the ward of his Lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his Lord's house. So Joseph is still either Pharaoh, the officers, or Pharaoh. The officers or Joseph is still seeing this Pharaoh as Lord, saying, Wherefore look ye so sad today? Okay? And they said unto them, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpretation of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretation belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. Okay. And the chief butler told his dreams to Joseph, and Joseph said to him in my dream, Behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blooms brought forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, and I pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when thou wast this butler. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, and pray thee unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For I indeed was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and there is also have I done nothing that they should put me into this dungeon. When the chief butler, or chief baker, saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. And in the uttermost basket that was full of all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree. And the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. Man, that's not good. Gonna leave him on the tree to rot. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the heads of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted unto them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. So he forgot him. He got him. Oh, I'm back to where I'm supposed to be. It's about me generation. 41. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Joseph dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river, and behold, there come up out of the river 7 well-favored kine, and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kings came up, and after them out of the river, and favored with lean-fleshed, and stood by the other king upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and the lean-fleshed kin did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat king. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the 2nd time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the musicians of Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spoke the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servant, and put him in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew servant, to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dream. To each man according to his dream did he interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored to my office, and him he hanged. And then Pharaoh sent and called for Joseph, and that they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I had heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in the meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after him, poor and very ill-favored, and lean-fleshed, which such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored king did eat up the first 7 fat kings. And then they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke, and I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk full and good. And behold, the 7 ears withered thin, and blast with the east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it unto me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored king that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blast with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, that God is about to do. He showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there comes 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in all the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of the famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh's twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up a fifth part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hands of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the city. All right, I want you to pay attention, okay? Because he is saying, Pharaoh, you need to put somebody over the land and take from everybody's crop, okay? Take it from everybody's crop and store it away for the 7 years that are coming up. There is no mention of paying these people for what they get. He said, take it, okay? All right. Number 36. And that the food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. Yeah, let's go through and let's gather up this food here so we won't go hungry. All right. Now, 38. And Pharaoh said unto his servant, can we find such a one as this is a man, and who the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, forasmuch as God has showed thee all this, there is none so direct and wise as thou art. So he's saying, because you got the interpretation from God, there's nobody more honest than you. You're honest, okay? 40. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. I mean, that's just like it was before. Okay? Joseph got restored back to what he did before. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vesture of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. All right, now I want you all to see, everything was given to Joseph. He started being marked by worldly possessions, okay? Okay. 43. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had, and they cried before him, bow the knees, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. Now, the people bowed their knees to the Pharaoh and to Joseph. Joseph was made into a god, okay? You don't bow down to men, okay? 44. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphenath-paneah. See, they even gave him an Egyptian name. So no more is he Joseph. And he gave him to wife a Seneth, the daughter of Potiphar's priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt, and Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Sorry about that. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls, and he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the city, the food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. Now, they have found where he had dug holes. I mean, huge warehouse holes of down in the ground, and had roofs over and everything, where they had put all this corn and all this food. They had preserved it. 49. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. And to Joseph were born 2 sons before the year of famine came, which a Sith, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of bore to him. See, he didn't even have a Hebrew wife. He had the priest of the Egyptians. The Egyptians did not worship God. He threw God away. Now, if he would not have thrown God away, and if, listen to it, he threw God away to get where he is. He had to. Okay? Y'all say, oh no, Joseph looks like Christ, or whatever that word is I'm looking for. No. Let's not get God mixed up with the way the Antichrist would, because God would gather up, yes, and tell you to gather up, yes. But what Joseph does is not of God, okay? He is not around Hebrews. He is around the Egyptians. He has changed, okay? Now, I want you to think about this. He had a coat of many colors, okay? Okay. All right. 50. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came. And Oshkosh, the daughter, okay, on down. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh. For God said, He had made me forget all my tools and all my father's house. So he is naming the children after the Hebrew, okay? After the Hebrew. So Manasseh. And you have to do a study on Manasseh and all. And the other one. And the second, he called him Ephraim. For God has caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. All right, let's go. Let's look up this word here. Manasseh. 4519. Causing to forget. Manasseh, a grandson of Jacob. Also the tribe deceased from him and its territory. All right, so it is made to forget. Okay, so here is one clue that it is to forget. Okay, so there's your one clue that made him forget. Okay, and I will look at it again. And causing to forget. Okay, that's all it says. So how far did he forget? Okay, and if you look, that is an Egyptian word. All right, now let's look at the other one. Ephraim. Ephraim 669. Duel of a magic from of 672. Double fruit. Ephraim, a son of Joseph, also the tribe descending from him and its territory. So let's look up to 672. All right, 672 is Chaldee. And Alpha or Shika, okay, or Alpha Shathkite as an unknown Assyrian tribe. Okay, see, they're not even Hebrew children. They're not even Hebrew. So, there you go. Now you see that how I'm saying that he had nothing with God, nothing to do with God. Okay, let's go on. Now, let's see. For God had called me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. 53. And the 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and the 7 years of dearth began to come, according to Joseph had said. And the dearth was in all land, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. So he's got bread here in Egypt, but everywhere else there is none, because he did not tell any of the other people, the other kings or anything, hey look, in 7 years they're going to be a famine. No, he didn't. He was greedy. He took people's bread away from them, their food away from them. Didn't tell them, hey, you need to put some up. No, he didn't tell nobody nothing. He let it just go on by, and he saved it all for the Pharaoh. And this is what they have done now. We are in a dearth. Whether you believe it or not, right now we are in a dearth. So what? You can go to the grocery store and get what you want. But is it what God made? No. You got GMOs and everything in there. As it was in the day of Noah, you are in it right now. Okay? All right, 55. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried unto Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he saith unto you do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Pharaoh opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians. Now wait a minute. He took it from them. Now he's going to sell it right back to them. Does that sound like a God to you? Huh? How about the Creator God? Does that sound like a Creator God thing? No. It sounds like a self-appointed God of self to make others, the Pharaoh, rich. Who is the Pharaoh? Okay? Alright. 56. And the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold it to the Egyptians. And the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all the countries came to Egypt to Pharaoh for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all the lands. So why did he tell them? Why didn't he say, hey, we're fixing in 7 years there's going to be a famine, and we need to prepare. You need to prepare for your area to help the people out. I'm self-appointed God. Alrighty, I'm going to probably pick it back up here next time, because we're into some good teaching here now, I think. Agree or disagree, it's okay with me. This is how to donate to my PayPal. You come down here to Poor Man's Sewing, and you mash on Poor Man's Sewing. Then you go over here to About. You mash on About. And right here is to donate to Poor Man's Sewing. Thank you. I appreciate everything that is donated. It will go to the sewing shed that we are working on. Or anything that you want me to put it on there, just leave a note on there and I will see what it says. And I really do appreciate you donating and watching my channel. A lot of hugs and kisses to you.